This video is gonna cover everything that you have to do in day one to maximize progression in Wuthering Waves. And yo, clearly, your boy has shaved your head. I'm like the epitome of not getting laid. But let's start with today's content. As the title suggests, I'm gonna go through everything starting from spending your energy, characters to upgrade, how to upgrade them, what to do in day one in order to get your account to grow as fast as possible. Disclaimer! All the information here are based on CBD3 and all the footage I've used, I've credited in the description. And yeah, this will be a no BS video. It's gonna be all info, okay? Step number one, the moment you create your account, the first thing you want to do is of course clear through the tutorial, and here's your main goal. You want to get as far as you can on the main mission. I know you might think this is one of those guides that says nothing, but no, this is just the first. I know it's really obvious, but that's truly what you gotta do. It takes about 35 minutes to finish the whole tutorial story, and then you unlock your gacha. As you're clearing the story through the tutorial, I suggest you going for chests if you see some. Collect any resources on the go, but you don't have to go out your way to collect all of them, right? You can do that, but it's not gonna grow your account as fast as just progressing as fast as you can. Once you unlock your convene, the first banner you absolutely have to pull for is the beginner banner. From the beginner banner, you are guaranteed for your first 5-star in the first 50 pulls. You want to be able to get this character and build your team around whatever character you get. If you're the type of person to reroll, this is where you stop and reroll the account. I don't think you have to reroll to have fun in the game, so if you don't reroll, that's totally fine. The next thing you gotta do is to keep moving. As you play through the main story at your fastest pace, you're gonna realize at some point they're gonna hard limit you by saying you have to reach a certain account level before proceeding with the next phase of the main quest. And at this point, you have no choice but to grind your account level as fast as you can, and the best way to do it is this. Go through your missions list and find the side quests with this icon in there. This icon means experience points for your account, and the side quests give you a lot, okay? From CBD3, it may range from 1,000 to 2,000 experience points. You want to do this because these are the highest amount of experience points you'll be able to obtain from any other thing that you could do as a day one newer player. And here's the part where you have to pay attention. Once you reach level 19, what you want to do as a newer player is you want to spend your Waveplates, or commonly known as energy in the game, on upgrading your character. Let me explain why. Much like Genshin, where when you reach a certain level, the mobs in the overworld will gain a lot of levels. Basically, there will be a difficulty spike for the overworld mobs and the story as well. And in Wuthering Waves, that happens at level 20. So by level 19, you want to at least have your character be upgraded instead of having them be base level, like uninvested at all. The first characters to upgrade is certainly your first team of 3. You want to start by upgrading their levels and then ascending them to the highest amount that you can. And of course, since you're investing resources as a free-to-play, you want to make sure every character you build is useful. So you want to make sure your first team of 3 is a team that works for you and it's a team that works well. Or else in the future, if you swap characters around, you might spread your resources too thin. The most ideal scenario is you get lucky for your beginner's banner and just get your 5-star early. Now you can build your team around that 5-star and know who you want to upgrade. Once you upgrade your first team of 3 to the highest level they can be, you want to actually invest a little bit on your weapons as well. The only warning here is that you don't want to upgrade any echoes at all, because on day one, you'll be replacing every echo you can get, okay? And just so happens in day one, you could get actual good echoes later too, so don't upgrade none of them. And once you get them all upgraded, you can hit level 20, you'll realize the overall mobs gets a lot harder, but you won't have as much issues dealing with them. If you don't do this, you might be backloading or the energy sink in order to get resources down the road. You can still progress by doing so, but it won't be efficient. You might be stuck there and be like, oh, I can only max one character level, but not the other. Dang, I gotta wait for my energy now. That would suck a little bit. You'll take more time to clear each waves of enemies, be it in the story or just in the overworld. You can reach this level on day one, and it's important to note that you want to spend your energy only on what I've mentioned so far. You don't want to farm tacit fields. You don't want to farm weekly bosses, because on day one at least, they're not going to be usable for you. Now, if you've done all that I mentioned so far, your energy should be spent and they're recharging with time, so that's basically maximum profit, right? You're making the most out of your energy. You have progressed to the farthest point you could in the main quest. You have your characters leveled as well. Some even have weapons that are leveled. The next on the agenda is you have to unlock all the teleport points. It's going to be important for what you're going to do later. Of course, as you unlock the points, try and get as many chests as you can. You can either use an interactive map to gather actually all of them, or just as you go unlock your teleport point, if it's convenient to you, grab those chests. On the road, if you can farm for any resources, say break a crystal, collect them, try and do that as well. They're going to compound and give you a lot of value down the road. Once you finish unlocking all the teleport points, this is where players who are smart and watch this video is going to pull apart as compared to everyone else, okay? You can start farming echoes. If you don't know what echoes are, they are basically equipments in the game, or kind of like a relic system for Honkai Star Rail, artifact system for Genshin, I believe. These are the stuff that's going to give you a lot of stats like crit rate, crit damage, elemental damage, all that stuff. But that is not important right now. What you really want to do is just collect as many echoes as you can at the start. Not even because you want to get good ones, it's because you want to raise your terminal level. Let me explain what that is. If you go in your data bank, you're gonna see terminal level, which basically means your Pokemon trainer level, your Echoes collection level. The higher terminal level goes, the higher the chances of you obtaining an Echo in the first place or obtaining a gold rarity Echo, which are endgame Echoes. Now you may ask me how to increase the terminal level. Very easy. You just have to keep obtaining Echoes. In order to obtain Echoes, you have to keep defeating enemies. After defeating any enemies, there's a chance you'll obtain an Echo of that enemy. And that will be your next point of focus. Trying to defeat as many enemies as you can and obtaining as much Echoes as you can to get the terminal level up. To do this, simply head to the data bank and there's a list of enemies. You can just track them down, kill all of them. Millions of species will die day one if they watch this video, okay? Once you beat every Echo, you've absorbed as much as you can, you've gotten your terminal level up a little bit, you can now go ahead and farm the hard bosses. Similar to any other mobs, these hard bosses will also drop Echoes, which brings us to the next step. You're trying to find elite enemies and defeat them. The elite enemies that I'm talking about here have a unique HP bar, but they are not exactly like world bosses that straight out has their own theme song, right? These elite enemies will take damage based on their HP. You can parry them, so even if you're under level, you're able to beat them. Once you defeat all of these enemies, you can obtain elite class Echoes that's actually potentially good in combat as well. But again, it's mostly to increase your terminal level. The higher terminal level goes, the more likely you'll get gold rarity Echoes, which are the ones that matter. Once you've defeated all of the elites, or try to, beat the ones that you can now go ahead and fight the world bosses. Go to their icon, murder them. If they drop some Echoes, good. If they don't, well, unlucky, right? By defeating the world bosses, there's a chance to obtain an Overlord class Echo. For a day one account, to obtain an Overlord class Echo that you can use in combat, each with their own skill, right? Echoes in this game can actually be really impactful in terms of damage output as well. So if you watch this video, you killed all the elites, you killed all the world bosses, you have a couple of Echoes under your belt, the damage you can put out is certainly way higher than anyone else that doesn't do that. However, it is still important to note, even if you get the Overlord class Echoes, you don't want to upgrade them unless you know what you're doing. The general idea is if they're not gold, you don't want to upgrade them, which on day one, it's almost certain you won't get a gold Echo. If you spend your resources in upgrade Echoes and you feed that Echo to someone else, the overall experience points that you gain for the Echo is actually lower. So you don't want to just feed random Echoes and then think, oh, I can just feed it to someone else. You'll lose a lot of resources that way. And yeah, if you've done absolutely everything I've mentioned so far, you should be at above level 20 right now with around level 15 terminal level because you exterminated some species and you probably took around 10 hours to do that. Firstly, holy shit, touch grass. But secondly, your account should be really strong right now and you have around 130 if not more summons to work with. That's assuming if you haven't pulled on beginner banner, but if you did, add them all together, you get around 130 or more. The first banner that you should pull that I mentioned already is the beginner banner, so you get your first 5-star. You know how to build your team around that character. A TLDR is that if you get Verena or Jianxin, which both of them are of the support archetype of characters, then you want to pick a main DPS to pair with them. If you got a Calcharo, then oh, I need a support now. Maybe the free Baijin would work. But generally speaking, here's what I suggest. I want you, no matter what you've gotten, right, go ahead and pull some of your summons on GN's banner. I've done a video talking about GN's banner, which the 4 stars that's in his banner is really good, especially for newer players. So you got a Verena, you spend 20 pulls on GN's banner, you could get the 4-star Danjin, and now you have a Verena, Danjin plus whoever support, a really strong team. And you don't have to worry, the PD count will carry over to the next banner. So if you spend 50 summons in GN, it carries over to Yinlin. So even if you want to skip GN, it's not like the value of the pull that you did disappears, right? It gets carried over to the next banner. Speaking of which, if you're wondering who to pick, it's either GN or Yinlin. Well, I made a video too. Check it out, eh? Corpa. And that will be your day one journey. I'll be doing an updated guide as well, which I would consider intermediate. That is when you want to find the weekly bosses, upgrading your Echoes, make sure your skills upgraded as well. All of this is for another video, but for this one is for all the day ones out there. This will be the grand plan. But yes, before we end the video, a final disclaimer. This is information from CBD3 that I've gathered from YouTube and Bilibili. I've linked all the reference and footage in the description down below. So yeah, things might change time come official release. And that'll be all for the beginners guide. I'll be dropping more fire Wuthering Waves content, so be sure to subscribe. You hear me? Let me know in the comments if there are any questions or if there's anything else you want to see from me. You can tell by the glow on my forehead, I am probably somewhat knowledgeable. And that is all. Take care!